everyone, this is Eflex and welcome back to another A Producer's Approach video. In this video we're going to be looking at Stonebank's song Stronger featuring Emel. So if you guys have never watched these videos before, I basically do an intro backstory section giving like a short personal backstory, how I found the song. Then after that I do a breakdown analysis section, and then after that I do an outro section just summing up my thoughts. So basically this is Stonebank's song Stronger featuring Emel. Personally for me, I remember when the song came out in January 5th, 2015, and this song, I don't know, for the last 6-7 years has resonated with me quite a bit. I would honestly say this is probably my favorite Stonebank song because this is like the first song that comes to my mind when I think of Stonebank. And thanks to my buddy EarthFox for recommending me to maybe do an APA video on Stonebank. He and I are pretty big fans of Stonebank and we've been following him since he first premiered on Monstercat. So shout out to him for the recommendation on doing the APA video for Stonebank. But yeah, there's really good energy with the song Stronger. Emel, I think, is a good vocalist. I think Emel is his wife now. So the two are a really great duo together, Stonebank and Emel. And overall, this song just has like a really nice pace, and that second drop where it almost goes into like drum and bass tempo or drum and bass rhythm is just insane. I don't know. This is just one of those songs that's really good. So let's get into the APA and the breakdown section for Stonebank song Stronger featuring Emel.
Yes, you're very quite tough, always having bad luck. You think you're going crazy, look up, there's a new life waiting. Your head's buried in the sand.
Alright. Don't mind that. I have to lower the volume for a little bit. So basically in the beginning section you kind of hear the kind of more traditional intro with kind of the kick intro for I think 30 seconds, 15 to 30 seconds. It's pretty cool. There's kind of like a nice white noise riser and then kind of like the bass note playing at the same time. Really cool intro, and then it just transitions into this break section where there's a piano and Emel's vocals come in. So that's kind of a nice switch off, and yeah, it's just the start of the break section in itself. So I'm sorry if there's like a little bit of a lag in between sections where the play button and pause button happens. It seems to happen more frequently when I'm recording, so just bear in mind with that and the volume level. So let's keep going.
And you've been dealt the wrong hand, can't imagine how you feel, only you know that it's real. Don't look back, just carry on, carry on, carry on. Don't look back, just carry on, carry on, carry on. Because you are stronger. Yes, you are stronger.
Alright, so in that section, I really like this break section. Both breaks in the song are really good, but just this first one, you kind of can tell the vocals and the piano are playing. And then it just transitions and switches right into like the lead sound playing with the bass sound kind of coming in that you'll hear in the drop with the vocal. I don't know, that transition's really nice. It's really smooth. Like there was a little white noise to transition it, but like it's not super noticeable even to me. Like the transition itself is just really smooth. And then this build up is kind of like a kind of more traditional build up with, you know, with kind of some different sounds kind of thrown in to kind of build up with some white noise. But just that break section in itself is really nice because you notice there's not really much percussion, and it's just pretty much all the sounds with the vocal just on its own, which is really nice. So I don't know, that's amongst one of my favorite sections in the song amongst many. So let's keep going. All right, so that was the first drop. So a couple things I just wanted to note is that in the build up into the drop, there actually was the vocal of Emel saying stronger, and it's reverbed and probably manually kind of laid out, so it would have a kind of more manual delay effect as well. But you don't really hear that too often in some of the other songs. And then there was a nice transitionary percussion into the drop, and then the drop itself is really good. In hard dance, sometimes they use this kind of like hard style kick, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I like how Stonebank used a more kind of traditional kind of electro house dubstep drum and bass type kick, so it's not really kind of that annoying kind of distorted kick, at least to me. So that's really nice. And then the lead is really catchy. The melody is just like the lead, really catchy. The bass line's really good, and then the switch up is really nice too, between the first part of the drop to the second part, where it goes really more sound design, and then the lead sound kind of switches to like a more uplifting sound, in a sense, and then it kind of just grinds with that kind of almost complextro type feel in a hardcore hard dance song. So that's really cool. Just one of my favorite sections so far. I mean, and we're only halfway through the song, so we'll keep on going and go from there.
Always having bad luck. You think you're going crazy. Look up, there's a new life waiting. Your head's buried in the sand. You've been dealt the wrong hand. Can't imagine how you feel. Only you know that it's real. Don't look back, just carry on, carry on, carry on. Don't look back, just carry on, carry on, carry on. Because you are stronger.
All right, so this part was interesting, this break. It, to me, it felt more like an angelic section. When the drop finishes, it plays the piano, and then there's this kind of like pluckish arp, not an arp, but almost like a pluckish sound on the bottom playing the chord progression, which to me reminds me of kind of like an organ. And then when it goes into the second part of the break, it sounds really angelic. The lead sound and the bass sound don't come in like the first part of the drop, so the vocal shines more and has like more angelic feeling pads to make it more epic. And then the transitionary switch into the build up is way more intense than the first build up to the drop, so you could tell like it switches from really angelic to like really kind of more aggressive to what the change in the second drop is going to be. So you guys can listen to that, and it's just kind of crazy. But this drop so far probably is going to include the vocal chop of Emel saying stronger, and then there's some white noise, and it sounds a little bit different than the previous build up, but pretty similar in the same kind of design of building up the tension. So let's keep on going. Alright, so that was Stonebank's song Stronger featuring Emel. So we'll kind of go back into the second drop, break that down a little bit, and then I'll outro the rest of this video. So basically within the second drop, you kind of hear the transitionary change into the more drum and bass drop. That's where you kind of hear Stonebank's sound design of sounds really shine within this drop, because you kind of hear like the really harder sounds, but that kind of signature Stonebank sound design sound. I don't exactly know what it is and how to describe it. Yeah, it's just like kind of this kind of aggressive kind of graveling sound, but it's really good in that section. Kind of brings up the intensity and just kind of the pace and the drum and bass swing of it, and it just kind of displays his sound design and his style kind of in full display in that section, and the pacing is just really good. And then after that, it transitions into the more kind of traditional lead and melodic drop section, where the lead and the bass line are playing, and then there's kind of like vocal chops you hear in the background, kind of saying stronger, just kind of vocal chopped in the background. And then after that, it just transitions to the outro, where in the outro I kind of heard a riser playing while the kick is playing, with like kick snare, and then there's kind of like a riser rising up, so kind of builds up some tension finishing the song. So that is Stonebank's song Stronger featuring Emel. Sorry for all the technical difficulties with me changing the volume and then kind of slow lagging speed when starting the video again, but this song to me is probably the best representation of Stonebank's style. This song really does, I guess, the hardcore dance or happy hardcore genre really well, because a lot of the happy hardcore songs that I've heard, it's kind of similar to nightcore, but it's a little bit different. Where nightcore, they just kind of like pitch up the BPM to like 180 from whatever the original song was, so then the vocal gets really high pitched. But this is probably like the best representation where it's not really high pitched and it's a little more aggressive. To me, this is like a really nice happy ground between happy hardcore and drum and bass, because it sounds like this song is sitting at around 174 BPM, which is around the same BPM as drum and bass. So he had the liberty to kind of switch in between styles, even though it's kind of considered hard dance or happy hardcore or whatever. Like, he could switch between happy hardcore and drum and bass and really implement his sound into it. So overall, you can just kind of tell the difference in like the structure of the song and how it was designed, like in the beginning, to give like a really big impact into the first drop, and then the second drop, the break section, was more angelic into like the build up into the more intense second drop. So it's just overall best representation, I think, of Stonebank's style and sound. And if you guys haven't heard more of his music, definitely listen to it. Look up Stonebank. He's really good on Monstercat. And overall, this is my APA video for Stronger, and hope you guys liked it. Thanks to Earth Fox for the recommendation for doing APA of Stonebank songs. Hopefully we'll want to do more, because I have a few other songs I like from him that are a little bit older. Some of his newer stuff to me is a little more hit or miss, but his older stuff was really solid. So overall, I hope you guys like this video and have a good one. Peace.
We'll be right back.